Hey everyone, Greta here. Today we are going to talk about how to move away from the wall in an inversion. There are actually a lot of ways, and I have done a few of these little clips already, but since there are a lot of different methods, I thought it would be nice to just keep sharing with you because you never know which variation or which particular drill would work for you. This drill also works for all the inversions, but I'll demo in a headstand simply because if I do it in a handstand, I think my feet would be cut off. This drill also works for all the inversions, but I'll be demoing in a headstand because I realize that if I do it in a pinja or in a handstand, my legs would be cut off. Now I'd like you to be comfortable with this idea that an inversion comes in a lot of different variations. It doesn't mean that your legs must be together and pointing directly up to the sky in order to be classified that, oh, you can do an inversion. The reason why I need to make this clear in the beginning is because we will be separating our legs in an inversion today. And whenever I show the students this version, a lot of them are quite skeptical about it. They would try for like once or twice, and then they'll go back to gluing the legs together and then falling onto the wall. To a lot of people, they still think that, in order to be okay, or in order to be able to do an inversion, the legs must be together. And I simply don't understand why. When you are in the stage of trying to find the balance, forget all those strict principles of how or the impression of what you think an inversion should look like. Once you have the balance, once you find the balance, once the body knows how to balance on its own without the support of a wall, whatever you do with the legs will come naturally. So for stage 1, you will be using the wall, of course, and you'll be moving a little bit further away from the wall. So in a headstand and for the headstand, if I'm using the wall, I would be very close to it, like about 3 to 4 fingers width away from the wall. But then for this particular variation, I would go a little bit further away. So I would be about here. Okay, so I would have maybe triple the distance. And I would come up, and I would, again, aim for the wall. It'll be a little bit further away, so just make sure that you don't collapse into the wall. The legs remain active, elbows keep pressing down, shoulders away from the ears, and the rib cage slightly hug in. Now from here, I'm going to move one leg away from the wall. Again, nothing dramatic, while keeping the other leg on the wall. From here, creating a little V, I'll be reaching a little bit high up to the sky. Instead of just kind of chilling out and hang out here, be pressing the elbows down in order to lift the rest of the upper body, or lift the rest of the body rather, up to the ceiling, and then gradually I'll feel the toes of the back leg feeling a little bit lighter, and I'll be floating. Notice that I am not moving the back leg forward. I'm just finding the alignment. Shoulders away from the ears, elbows pressed down, lengthen the upper arms, lengthen the spine, engage the legs, and then eventually, when everything is stacked in place, then the right toes, which is on the wall, would be away. So you can see it's away, right? And that's it. And just stay there balanced. Finding the balance is perfectly fine to be wobbly. Okay. And just don't collapse. Don't forget to breathe. So that was stage 1. Again, bear in mind when you are wanting to move the foot away from the wall, you have to think about the base. Okay, again, whatever you do with the base, as long as it's strong and solid, and when the body is lined up the way that the body should be, the back toes would float. And it's a very subtle movement, even though mentally, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever, it's a huge milestone, but physically it's just like that. Okay, so don't over dramatize anything. If you're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna move the back foot away from the wall, boom, like that, it's just gonna fall down. So it's very subtle. Once you feel comfortable with stage 1, we are gonna proceed to stage 2. So you are going to enter the inversion in a V. The setup is the same. Lift one leg up or maybe kick, and then lift the bottom leg up. And then try to keep this V. Yes, the back toes might be touching the wall. Don't worry about it. Okay? And see if you can find the balance this way. Touching, not touching. Touching, not touching. And the micro movement is only the leg that's moving, not the entire hip. So if the back leg is creating a really big movement that it drags the hips along, you will fall down. Difference between stage 2 and 1 is that for stage 2, you are actually learning to be more comfortable entering with your legs apart and not glued together. Keep practicing stages 1 and 2, and you want to, in stage 2, eventually enter without having the top leg actually touching the wall. And once everything becomes super comfortable, you're not even thinking about the legs, then you can move on to stage 3. Stage 3 in the middle of the mat. So it's exactly the same. Don't worry, don't overthink, because by this time, your body and the mind should be very ready. So anytime if you proceed to stage 3, you realize that, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? What if I fall? Then go back to stage 2 and entering the inversion without touching the wall. So if you're ready for stage 3, it's exactly the same. Come in, lift up, or maybe kick up, not in a headstand though, in a pincho or handstand, and then lift. And then just stay in your V. Okay, and balance here. Using the front leg and the back leg as a way to find the balance. Okay, it's always easy to balance when your legs are apart, front and back. Okay, because you always have the weight of the other leg to balance off. Whereas if your legs are together, is good or nothing, right? In an ideal world, the distance between the front leg and the hips to the back leg is identical. That's how you can find the balance. So you might actually want to film yourself in this one. A lot of times when people practice this variation, the bottom leg tends to drag too far forward. Yeah. So you might need to find that balancing point. Once you feel very comfortable with the V, you can start to make it smaller, and then eventually your feet will touch. But then do it gradually, and anytime if you don't feel comfortable, if you don't feel confident, if you have any doubt, either talk yourself out of it. If you cannot talk yourself out of it, go back to the wall. Okay. Never feel that, oh, the wall is for the weak. No, it's just a prop. You use your mat to practice yoga, right? That's a prop. So the wall is a prop as well. I love the wall. That's it for my sharing for today. Hope it helps. Take it easy. Bye-bye.